Hey there, and welcome to the Windsor Star News Cafe. I'm Dylan Kristy.
And I'm Don McArthur. And our top story today, it was a nightmare in Southwood Lakes.
Yeah, absolutely. A poor couple. They woke up around 3 a.m. on Saturday morning to find that their basement was flooding. The woman, Sue Recker, described it as it sounded like Niagara Falls was pouring out of the drains. And just in a couple hours, they ended up getting a few inches of refuse just filling their basement.
Well, exactly. And just to be clear, folks, this wasn't rainwater. You know, this was not stuff you could drink. This was raw sewage. This was, well, it was raw sewage. This was excrement. And it was in their basement. It filled it up 2 to 3 inches, and it, ruined some very, very important stuff. Mom's wedding dress.
Yeah.
Sort of a priceless thing. Totaled. All kinds of
antique furniture. They had a lot of stuff down there, and that's what you were saying. It was really sad. Her mom had passed away not too long ago, and so they had a lot of her items in the basement, which have all been completely ruined. So it's hard to say how you'd react in a situation like that. But John and Sue Recker, it seems like they did kind of the appropriate things. They called the 24/7 emergency plumbing line to try and get someone out there. They called the city of Windsor to come out and help. It wasn't until later that morning, so quite a few hours had passed since that 3 a.m.
Yeah, this stuff was gushing out for 16 hours, folks.
In total.
Into their basements, out of their basement toilet, into their laundry room sink. It was like a horror movie, just gurgling up. And, City of Windsor, we phoned them. They didn't get back to our reporter in time. I mean, these things, I suppose, can happen on the Labor Day weekend. But, boy, we're doing a follow-up today to see, because if you read the story, it sounds like this problem could have been rectified a lot earlier if somebody would have just gone in the thing with an eel and cleaned it out.
Well, there's that for sure. But the crazy part is that people actually had come out earlier in the day. They were kind of standing around and saying, well, this isn't the problem. Would say this is the city's problem. A city person came out and said, you just got to get a plumber. It wasn't until someone with the city actually came, they put the eel down, and they said immediately, probably 10 seconds later, they could hear it starting to drain, and the problem was rectified.
Yeah, there was a lot of buck passing on this file. Drew Dilkins, again, it's a long weekend, could have been away with his family, but residents couldn't get a hold of him. We couldn't get a hold of him. We're trying today, as I said, we're trying to do a follow-up on here, but it does sound like there was a lot of passing of the buck here.
Yeah, I'm pretty surprised too, because Drew Dilkins is usually pretty vocal and pretty outspoken on our website himself. He's a frequent commenter, and nothing. We haven't heard anything from him, so hopefully we'll be able to get in touch with him today.
Dawson Chen working on that story. We're heading out there. John and Sue Recker, sorry for your troubles. Okay, man, it's chaos out there on the streets. These yellow buses everywhere, little kids with retro lunch pails everywhere. It's back to school day.
Yeah, and there's a noticeable difference. If you went out there and thought that traffic was worse, well, you were right. They say that it's about, on average, 25% more traffic that are on the roads when school starts back up.
Well, I guess, right, you have teachers and then you have parents, right, who are taking their kids back to school. We're doing a little local story on the success of full-day kindergarten. The Liberals sent out a press release this morning. Perusa, she was out at Marlborough School. Essentially, a bunch of stats, but they said full-day kindergarten is better than half-day kindergarten, and I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. One of the reasons they're saying that parents actually end up saving a lot of money. Obviously, you don't have to worry about daycare, so...
Well, exactly. I'm excited. Little Violet Sunshine McArthur, she's starting kindergarten this year, and I guess it's just like a little test day this week, and then she's going to start next week full time. So Daddy's going to be buying some more golf balls, I guess, with all the money we're saving.
Yeah, it's not just the little kids who went back to school this week either. There were about 1,300 students who moved into the residences at University of Windsor. We had a really cool story on that. Lots of good photos from Dax Melmer of all of the parents dropping their kids off at residence, with the totes and furniture in tow, so it's hopping around campus as well.
Yeah, well, we'll keep an eye. There could be a Delta Chi kegger in the next couple of days. A little Frost Week action, or they call it Orientation Week, I guess now.
Well, yeah,
Ward
they have
2,
a lot
brace
of,
yourselves.
There's no kegger planned yet on the itinerary, but there's things happening all week. They have crazy Olympics, scavenger hunt, beach parties. Of course, the Coming Home Music Festival, which will be at the waterfront on Wednesday. That's the big one. So we have Nicky Romero, who you've seen on the big board outside of the Star for the past couple of weeks, so it should be good.
Okay. Man, on to Ward 7. That's it's going to make or break us here. Ward 7. We love this story. It just keeps on giving. On the weekend, I guess well, people are making jokes about this. For a start, Paul Sinnott, we love him to death. He's a municipal politics gadfly. He goes to every meeting. He is on these guys like a hawk. He's created a sort of a fake website, Windsor City Council Idol, blogspot.ca, inviting people, turn it into a big joke. He calls it Windsor's biggest TV smash of 2013, inviting people to submit. He's got all the counselors are judges with nicknames. He went whole hog here.
Oh yeah, no, he's gone all out. The website looks really good, and you know what? He's not that far off from actually what the process will be. They finally decided on Friday what the process will be They've come up with two options. Two actually appoint someone if they choose to take that route. And the one requires people to go up. They have a 5-minute presentation. Council then can ask them a question, and from there, at the end of the night, they get to vote on who they want to appoint.
And juggling, I want juggling.
Pretty much sounds just like American Idol, right?
Is,
like
it is.
You get up there, you have your little 5 minutes, and then boom, they make a vote at the end. And what's crazy, if there is a tie, you have to have a majority, but if there's a tie, they pull a name from a hat.
Okay, pull a name from the hat. Yeah. That's democracy in action.
Exactly.
Okay, and they have just on this fake Paul Sinnott website, again, Windsor City Council Idol blog spot, a couple of candidates, Fog Tom,
who, I was reading his description earlier, says that they solve the problems of the world every night behind the bar anyway. So it seems like an ideal situation.
The answer's always at the bottom of one of those bottles.
That's right. Eddie Francis, he thinks they should relax, come in. Fog will be a great new venue for City Council. Francis can preside while pouring pints and serving up poutine.
Okay.
So he says it's a perfect spot. You also have Ed the Sock.
Ed the Sock, yeah.
Yeah, much music favorite, who's kind of disappeared the last few years, I think. So maybe he's looking for a new seat.
I saw Ed the Sock once at a comedy club in Toronto.
Oh, did you?
And if kids are watching, I hate to disappoint you, but the Sock isn't real.
What
it is, they wheel a table out on stage with just like this here, with sort of a curtain down, and then Ed the Sock sort of pops up the puppet between the curtain, and the comedian is actually underneath, this table with the thing. And I stayed there and I waited and I waited and I waited, and the guy would not get out from under the table because he didn't want to sort of ruin the mirage. But finally, the comedian comes out from under the table and the Sock goes down.
Very cool.
Yeah. Anyway, so check that out. It all might be for naught anyway. Eddie Francis, he's come out pretty forcefully and said there should be a reconsideration council. We screwed up. There definitely should be a by-election now in Ward 7.
Yeah, for sure. It's funny, we call it a reconsideration, but he still isn't really reconsidering. He's always, from the very beginning, held the viewpoint that there should be a by-election, that it should be an expedited one as well. He wants, or not expedited, sorry, he wants this to take as long as possible.
Yeah, because Mara wanted the
expedited one. I think Mara wanted the one that was fast, we can get this over with as soon as possible. Yep. Francis is still saying that we should try and have as long a process as possible, so it's fair, so the candidates have an opportunity to come and I guess get out there. Well,
exactly. So we're not going to bore you with the details, but essentially it's on September 9th. Okay, it's going to be at their next meeting, and it's going to require like 2/3 of council to vote. Yada yada, some procedural stuff. Guaranteed, they're going to be talking about it, and if they don't, there could be like pitchforks and Molotovs and bloodshed in the streets, because there is a rally for September 9th going around on Facebook. Over 1,500 people have been invited. About 70 have said they're going to go. Reno Bertolin, Paul Sinnott, they're calling it a rally for democracy. September 9th in front of City Hall.
Absolutely, we'll be there, and if you want, you can be there as well, and follow us for the latest.
All right, and maybe Unifor will be out there. Those guys know how to throw a party, man. They had a big parade yesterday. Right. The newest private sector union in Canada, merger of the CEP and the CAW. They celebrated their union in, of all places, of course, Windsor at the Fogler Furland Club yesterday, decked out in red.
Yeah.
Solidarity forever.
Yeah, for sure. It looked like a blast. We had tons of great photos, and what a great event.
Exactly, and I just want to say, like, I'm in management now, but you're in the CAW.
Unifor, yeah.
Yeah. Is it Unifor now?
Yeah, sure.
Of course it is, right? The merger. But I was always proud of the fact when I was in the union that I was in the CAW. I thought that was a pretty cool union to be in. And the reality is this: that reporters and photographers, like in Windsor, they got paid more than reporters and photographers at similar sized papers elsewhere, and I always thought that was because we were in such a strong union. So Dino Chiodo told union members to pull out their union card and said, hey, they make a difference, and I think they did. I mean, still don't make as much as lawyers, teachers, police officers, firefighters, whatever, but we're in it for the love. But I think unions, they do a lot of good.
Oh no, absolutely, 100%.
Okay, and anyway, the jail guards union might have some questions. Right over at Windsor Jail. I mean, it turned out to be a bit of a bust, but some commotion at the jail this morning.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting. It's still kind of a developing story, but we heard a call early this morning. Our Trevor Wilhelm found out that there was actually an escape from Windsor Jail. That escape pretty much turned out to be that Windsor Jail accidentally released someone who probably shouldn't have been released. So police have been scanning the West End looking for this person. He's described as a 35-year-old black male with a medium build, 6 feet in height. He's wearing a beige shirt, beige vest, tan pants, and brown dress shoes. So we'll see. There still hasn't been any word if he's been found and returned, but
yeah, it seems more like a procedural thing because there's no panic in the West End. There's no lockdown. No. I mean, there's nothing like that. We went out, sort of looking for police cruisers and drag nets and all of that, but kind of a bit of a bust.
Oh yeah, for sure. Windsor police say this person poses no threat, so they're just looking to return him. And the guy himself, he probably has no idea that there's even anything wrong that's going on. He probably thought he was free to go and he was happy, so who knows? He's having a Big Mac right now.
Yeah, let's hope he reads the Windsor Star.
Yeah, exactly.
And turns himself in. And finally, we're going to close out here with the results of our pot poll, okay? Marijuana was a big topic last week, and we had a poll just asking people whether they smoked marijuana or not, and wow, overwhelmingly 77% or 1,105 of our readers have smoked marijuana, compared to only 23% or 330 who said they've never smoked marijuana.
Yeah, so a great turnout. We get usually a lot of response from people on these polls, but 1,400 people, that's quite a good sample size. So yeah, pretty interesting.
Yeah, definitely. So you know, we're going to have more poll questions coming up. Now, you know, to be fair here, the stoners they might have voted twice with that short-term memory thing. So we'll see. We'll check the IP addresses. Thanks for tuning in. This has been WinStarCafe. See you soon.